So we have a look here for the Week 11 AP poll here for the women's basketball. So you can see all the voters here. There are some local voters, and then you got some from like ESPN, some from like Fox Sports, or like ESPN, or like The Athletic. You got like all the major like actual reporter like news publications. So you have UCLA is 16-0. Have 773 points. And yeah, you do see like some from ESPN, like Brenda Van Lingen, Alexa Philippou. You got Kelly Gramlich, Emma Vopel, Kim Adams from Fox Sports, some key basketball players. And then you got some random ones from across the country, some random people. Like Waco Tribune. Some I'm not so sure who they are, but I mean, they must be important though. If I know Percy Allen, he covers on this. WUNC Met Bell, Mark Story. Some of these I think they're just trying to get people from all over the country. Because, but hey, I'm not mad though. You know what I mean? They must be popular somewhere. You know what I mean? But hey, whatever. You got South Carolina at second place, 16-1. Their only losses to UCLA. Notre Dame is in third. You got USC in fourth, which I can respect. I mean, I'm surprised USC's not in third, but over Notre Dame. But hey, but it is what it is. I guess you can't argue with. I guess LSU's top 5. No surprise there. LSU is remaining hot, especially after getting upward there, especially after winning 3 in the SEC. I mean, people love to hate on LSU because they have a weak non-conference schedule. Their non-conference is usually not the best, but they do make up. But because their conference schedule is so tough, really tough, they don't schedule a lot of major competition in non-conference. Usually you don't hear about LSU or CLSU on TV much. I mean, you might on the SC network or something, but other than the conference network, you really don't hear or see much about them, other than that they're just consistent in the top 25. But they do play well in big games, though. So you have to give credit to Kim Mulkey for preparing her teams, though, when it matters on big games. They do make it to pretty far in the NCAA. Good showings in the NCAA. They just haven't hit that hump yet to where. I mean, they did, but actually they have. I mean, didn't they make it to that? Actually, didn't they get a championship? Never mind. So, never mind, I guess. Or Iowa, didn't they? So, never mind. Or maybe I'm wrong, but. UConn is 6 at 15-2. Still had a pretty solid team. They're not as injury riddled as they have been before. Sometimes before they were more injury riddled and stuff like that. But this year they're more not as injury riddled, so they're more of a solid. They're a solid team. UConn is, and they're showing why. They're 6th this year. Moved up 1. Texas, despite their dominant win over Alabama, but they lost dominantly to South Carolina. So I think that hurt them. Maryland Slate, the 15-1. Ninth is Ohio State at 16-0. Ohio State really hasn't been tested as much, same as OSU. And that's why they're kind of Ohio State's still kind of a little lower. TCU's 10th with 17-1. Their only loss has been to South Carolina. And once they get tested in like Big 12 play against like some of the teams like West Virginia, Kansas State, like Oklahoma State, Utah, Baylor, some of the tops in the Big 12, they will be a lot higher in the rankings, which I mean TCU is look pretty solid, but that one loss to South Carolina did look but that was like early in the season. They weren't looking, you had like the key players. A lot of key players for TCU last season were injured, and so especially with Haley Van Lith now going to TCU and it being a good fit for her this season. She's actually been really solid. You have number 11 is Kansas State. They moved up one. It's kind of no surprise. Kansas State's look pretty solid. You have Kentucky. They went up 3 to 12th. Kentucky, I don't know though. To me, it seems like Kentucky's a little bit too high for me. But in SC play so far, they've done it good though. So I think that's why they're staying higher though. Oklahoma is 13th at 14-3. In the 13th. I think that loss like Mississippi State hurt them. Although Mississippi State is a solid team record-wise. You have 14th is North Carolina at 15-3. It did beat Duke though in that one game in Duke, so that's I think what really helped them up a lot. Which is a solid win to beat a ranked Duke team. You got Tennessee in 14th at 5th or 15th with 14-2. That's kind of no surprise there. Tennessee, but once Tennessee, play. They have some good wins, some good games they've played in like non-conference. So Duke is 16th at 13-4, fell down after that loss to Notre Dame, or North Carolina. I'm thinking Notre Dame. You got Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech had a loss to Virginia Tech, and then they had a loss to Louisville. Obviously, they started off really strong. One of their best seasons, either their best season start ever or like one of their best seasons ever in women's basketball history for Georgia Tech. But they just lost. They lost 2 in a row. They were at 13th, and they fell down to 17th. But that West Virginia or Virginia Tech win. That Virginia Tech game, the Virginia Tech win against Georgia Tech. That was a little bit more respectable win. It was a more respectable win. So I think that's what really helped them. The Louisville loss, I think, is what really hurt them down. Otherwise they might just be 15th, I would think. You have California. They had a good stretch, They had that game against NC State that really bumped them up. you have Alabama after that loss to Texas. That that was a blowout loss on Thursday. That really fell him down in a bunch. You have number 20 West Virginia. They fell down to 13-3. Well, they are at 13-3 and they fell 3 spots. 20th in the country. And that was lost to Oklahoma State that hurt them downward somewhere. Especially when you had, you know, they were not ranked at the time. West Virginia wasn't. Or Oklahoma State was ranked. West Virginia was 17th at the time. And you have North Carolina State 12-4. They didn't fall after a loss to California, which I'm a little surprised by, but I guess when Michigan State and Utah fell down, some. And then that loss was to like a ranked team. And then you had Utah at 23rd at 13-3. Then you got what actually hit. And then you got actually turn my system to my head. Number 24th ranked Minnesota at 16-1. Minnesota is the top team, ranked team. They haven't been ranked in like a long while. And that's awesome for them. Get some ranked recognition. I mean, Minnesota definitely deserves it. Their only loss was to only loss in the season was to only loss was to Nebraska, and that was a solid game for them. I mean, there were solid stretch of games they've had. They played Penn State, blew them out. They didn't blow out that was on the Saturday before the 28th. Let's see, that was. Yeah, it was on the 28th. And then on and then on and then on New Year's Eve they played Wisconsin, and they beat them, and then they ended up beating another top team. Well, not top team, but they do end up being like a top 40 team and a team that's like unlike the bubble of the teams that are at large teams, like the 37 at large teams. I mean, essentially, you do have some top teams from conferences, from like power conferences in there. So in the at large, so they're like right in the bubble, reaching like the NCAA tournament, and they beat them, and they beat Rutgers, So now they have a tough test against Maryland to prove that they're still in the AP. I mean, I think though, if they have, even if they have like competitive law, I don't know though. I mean, will they have a competitive win? If they win though, they'll definitely be ranked higher. Though they'll definitely get more respect by like the ESPN reporters and um like the ones voting on behalf of like NBC Sports, like Christy Winter Scott, even though she does college basketball for them. Like technically, I mean, she does do like monumental sports. I guess she votes on behalf of NBC. I mean, technically, she does do like NBC broadcasting for them. She might do some women's college basketball reporting for like all networks or for like commenting. So I guess she'll fill it. But I mean, that's no surprise there. They'll get more respect by like especially the ones that do the Big Ten games and stuff like that. They'll get more, or like the non like person ones like Yahoo and like The Athletic and like all those ones. I'm not like you know what I mean. Like they should if they beat Maryland, but or even if it's more competitive loss, I would think they would get still be in if it's like really close. You know? I mean a win would really, I mean, that's just like awesome, you know, see. You know? Like especially if it's like these teams that you don't see ranked a lot. You don't actually see them in. Or, you know, it's awesome, you know. And then you have Oklahoma State at 24, tied at 24th with 14-2. Although they get the 25th spot though due to being having like a lesser record. And then Michigan was close to being ranked. It's kind of a toss-up between Minnesota, Oklahoma State, and Michigan for a lot of the voters. They had I get what I see right here though is you get a point for every, you know, being it for 25 points, you're getting first, 24 for second, and so on. So, and then you have Michigan receiving 43 votes. Mississippi State getting 22 votes, and then Indiana getting 14 points. Well, I guess that's points, I guess you could say. Crane 12, Nebraska 11, Baylor 8, Louisville 5. Which I'm surprised Louisville is. It's really shocking to me. Don't understand that one. I mean, just because they beat Georgia Tech. Like their overall record is not amazing, but okay. I mean, I guess. Crane. I mean, I can see Crane, but I mean, Harvard. I respect that. I mean, the mid majors, Harvard, Union, but I mean, I gotta see. One of those things where if Harvard could like eventually like run like the IB table, or you know, beat Columbia, beat Princeton, and if they do them again because they only had 8 teams in IB, so they would do 7, so that'd be 7. So they would play them twice. You know, like they do like the Friday Saturday games or in the IB, so they would play them twice. But they don't do every Friday Saturday. They might do one Saturday or not very often. They do Friday Saturday, but because they don't need to, you know. So they only do like one a week, but on the Saturday. But Harvard, I mean, I respect Harvard. Harvard is a good one of those mid majors from like IB. You know, they have Columbia, Princeton, and Harvard, and one of those, like Columbia, Princeton, normally make it one of them or both make it to the NCAA tournament, and then one of them either makes it to like the WBIT or like the WNIT. Some and like Harvard's usually been the team that makes it to the WNIT and actually does like pretty far in the WNIT. Harvard, usually does. I think last year was it last year or I know a lot of times they make it to like the final. I think it might have been last year they made it to like the final 8 in the WNIT, so they are a good, respectable team, and they do play Columbia and Princeton, and if they beat, so they do have some respectable games, a few respect, and that those 3 teams are pretty respectable about AB especially in the mid majors, like the mid major rankings, like they have a mid major poll. Like in the ranks of the mid majors for men's basketball, like Harvard's one of those pretty respectable respected mid majors. We have Mississippi State at 3. That does not surprise me, especially after that win over Oklahoma. That win does not surprise me that they get votes. Neither does Nebraska. Nebraska. They did beat Minnesota. That was ranked, so some of them feel like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't see it. They beat. I know they played Cream that though, so that also plays a part into it. The Cream Nebraska takes on Baylor. I can see Baylor though, but I think they might need to play like they lost to Oklahoma State this ring, but they got blown out. But I think if they beat a ranked team, whether it's even a fringe team like Utah, they play tomorrow, I can see them getting more, either getting close to receiving votes or actually getting in. It might knock Utah out. We'll see how Utah is in, if Utah stays in or Utah gets ranked out. Florida State, that does not surprise me. Florida State getting a couple votes. Although, so Florida State is one of those teams that should be. Was one of those teams last year that was really solid, but wasn't ranked. It's like high up there, but like, and it had like actually like really low amount of losses, right? It's not just like a team like 4 or 5 losses, so you play in a power conference. No, not one of those scenarios. Actually, teams they had like a really solid record, no matter what conference. Even if you compare the teams that are like mid majors, didn't have like the toughest schedules. They were up there, record wise, so with them too, so they weren't ranked, so and they were in the power conference, so Iowa means someone's high in Iowa. Which Iowa after last year, Iowa was a solid team this last year. This year, without Caitlin Clark, without you got no, not. You still got a little bit of that the Caitlin Clark era, but not really. So. And then you got Vanderbilt with one, which I don't see Vanderbilt. Especially, I could have seen Vanderbilt, but the only thing about Vanderbilt is that Vanderbilt has had 2 losses in the week, which is Monday. They bore the people, which obviously takes Monday, and so they got ousted from the 8 people, or they got a vote, but I don't see why they did, because Vanderbilt has 2 losses in the SEC, now 3. So I just don't see it. Even if they squeak by wins in like SEC, okay. I mean, yes, there are a lot of good losses to like top teams, like LSU one was today, but that didn't play into it. So, but if they, I mean, I can see it. If they even squeak out wins in the SEC, no matter who they played against, I mean, that would actually help them in the AP. Maybe if they could be 2-2, or yeah, they were 1-2 in the SEC. So maybe if they're 2-1, or that might help them out a little bit. But I mean, even if they squeaked out, like played some bottom tier of the SEC, and squeaked them out in that conference record, and squeaked them out, like they played, say, Texas A&M, they played like Auburn, like Arkansas, and they squeaked them out, even like, okay, sure, like I could see them getting um like I saw the record, like maybe like higher votes received in the AP poll, like higher placement, like higher, I guess, points, I guess technically is like vote points, but I just don't see that now. So, and that's what it is. So, so we got the week 11 AP poll for women's basketball here. So, that's it. I'm just wanted to share with you here. This AP poll, I figure I'm gonna try to make it a weekly thing. I talk about the women's basketball AP poll, and just give you my thoughts on it, because it needs to be talked about a little bit more. I mean, it still is talked about a lot in women's basketball, but I just thought maybe I talk about it just a little bit, maybe give you my in-depth thoughts about it. I mean, you can't argue with a lot of these teams, although some of them are some of them are a little high though. But you're always gonna see that some voters see who they played against, and it just all depends, So it just all depends. You have some voters swing the poll a little bit. You do, kind of, I guess. But it is what it is. So.